Hi, my name is Patrick. I'm the CEO and co-founder of AUTOMAITED, and today I'm going to show you how we are democratizing process automation with our brand new AI-powered automation engineer. So this is our automated assistant, a very simple application that you install like any other application on your device in Windows or Mac. And our AI automation engineer gives you access to automations in whatever system you have, and every system can be integrated. It's very simple. The AI engineer will provide you automations in a very simple way. So the user will have smart buttons within their system. In this case, for example, SAP S/4HANA, wherever the user needs it, right? So for example, here I have a button to create a supplier invoice. Or if I go to material planning, I have a few buttons, for example, for material planning, or to check the material coverage, or to convert some of my planned orders. I also have those automations visible here in the system where I can activate them or deactivate them as I need them. And they will always be popping up and will be active whenever the user reaches that point in the workflow where they're relevant. So now to give you an example of how they work in the end in the workflow, we can, for example, take the material planning process here where we have a material information data that can come from a PDF, from an email, from a different system. And we have certain values on the date, on the amount, on the material name. And now if I click here on material planning process, how it would be in real life then as well, the process will be executed for me, but just much faster than I could do it and with much higher accuracy. And we could also do this, for example, in bulks if I have several of those material planning processes that I need to run subsequently, or even running it in the background at some point in time once I've figured out all the edge cases. So let me show you what happens when I now click one of our smart buttons. So the system now is doing all the work for me, looking for the right material, getting into material planning, and now we see that it's adding the right information here in this column. And I could randomize the value now and do an NR. I think we see how this works here now. So what I want to show you now, and giving you a glimpse on how our AI assistant works in real life, I'm going to show you a very short use case because then it's also very easy to understand how it works. So let's create a new automation with the click of a button here. I have two options. I can either proceed by chatting to the assistant, so explaining everything in words and then showing assistant how it works, or I simply do a voice recording, which I'm going to do now here, and explain all the facts to the AI assistant. And based on those recordings, the system then will come back with a question in case there's something ambiguous or something missing in terms of information, looking for all the edge cases on things that could happen along the process. And once all information is clear, we'll see that the system directly will automate my process here in this video. So let's start a voice recording. I want to calculate the total costs for machinery shippings. And here I have three values: machine costs, number of machines, and transportation costs. I want you to multiply machine costs with the number of machines and then add the transportation costs. The whole price then should be filled into the field of the total price. And you can find all information in these elements here. That's all I need. In case there's an invalid number whatsoever, please give me back an error message and I will handle everything manually. So now I've provided all the information as you see here. The recording is stopped. I just hand it in. And then we'll see here in this overview the information of the conversation that we had. So there would be more elements if I would have marked in separately, for example, but it's also easy to handle because you can simply just mark full section in your UI. And with this now, the system is thinking about, okay, what are all the information that I might require in order to automate this task for the user? And once this process is through, there will be 1, 2, 3 questions, and it's in a very iterative loop with the AI automation developer. Whenever there's new information, the assistant basically reevaluates if there's anything in addition that is required to build the automation. So this might take a few minutes or a few seconds, depending on the complexity. And once we're done with this, we have our automation. So let's see. Here, there's actually no questions because I gave all the information, which is quite nice. So I read through the information here. We start by taking the numbers, so that's what I want to have, and then just reply by yes. If something would be off, I could also reply no and give more context. I could also do this by voice, but now I'm going to start simply by writing yes. And now we see that the system is start to build the automation, which also can happen in the background. So while doing this, we can also go, for example, on a different web page, do some other work in the background. So we can visit our lovely automated web page, for example. We can go back to any other process in SAP. So the assistant is not disturbed by anything that is happening in parallel while it's building. So no need to worry here or wait. So with this, there's also no waiting time basically that is inefficient for you. And once the building is done, what you will see, hopefully then in a few seconds, is that a smart button will pop up in my UI, so where the process happens, like in SAP, for example. And with the first click of the button, we can also run a verification cycle. And after that, the automation is either live or will be fixed by the system if anything is wrong. And over time, we can also adjust the automation with further steps or edge cases. And this is something I can show you a little bit once the automation is built. One important thing while we're now waiting, also that's nice information. So here you have an overview also on the automations that are building. So you could be building several automations in parallel, but you can also rename them or even disable them. So for example, create the supplier invoice. If I disable this now, you see that it's inactive, and you have also feedback here what is happening with the other one. So if I go back here, I see that, for example, here the smart button is gone and is not visible anymore. And if I reactivate this, we'll see that the smart button appears again in my UI, which is quite nice. But you can also go back to, for example, the material planning process to open the automation and go back in terms of what are the requirements that we have defined, what was the conversation, and then refine the automation from there. So now we see that this first one, when it's about calculating material shipping costs, is now ready for verification. So we open that one, go back to our web page here, and we see that we have the smart button. So to make it simple, I just changed the numbers here. For example, 10, 10, 30. So the result here should be 130. And this is correct. Now, if we randomize this data, we'll see that this instantly works for all the other automations. Now, let's say we want to have something different and want to add something. We just add here, please also add an extra 100 to the calculation. Right, so we basically add one additional requirement. This could also be an edge case. And now we see that the smart button is disappearing because the system is now fixing or extending the automation, so adapting the underlying code basically, so it fits for the new one. And we also see here that again, the system goes into thinking mode, into fixing mode, and now we already have, because it's a very minor adjustment, have a new smart button here. So let's make something simple. So we have 1, 1, and 10 or 20. So the answer would have been before 21, and now it should be 121. Let's see if this also happens. 121. And now our automation is again ready and live and can be used. And if we don't like the wording, as mentioned before, we can go back here and just say, rename it ABC. And we save it, and also the smart button will change in terms of naming. So this is how easy it is to build your network of automations, longer ones, smaller ones, complicated ones. It really depends on your daily workflows. And by this, you can simplify your life wherever you're going and make your daily work much more efficient and less tedious. I hope you enjoyed this short demo. And if you want to learn more about the automated AI automation developer, let us know. Please reach out, and we're happy to show you something in live and discuss with you how you can get your first AI automation developer. Thanks for watching.